Ed Orgeron won a title. Les Miles won a title. Usually when the last thing on your resume looks like what Urban Meyer's last thing looks like, it can be disqualifying when it's that kind of embarrassing.
Winning titles in multiple places. I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's been a success story. Ed Orgeron has been filling in, interim basis, got hot at the right time, but when he's had the opportunity to run his own program, yeah, he made it to the heights with one of the greatest football teams of all time when Joe Burrow was his quarterback, but failed in Ole Miss. Tail end of LSU wasn't so good. So I think what Urban Meyer has is the ability to replicate that success everywhere he's gone.
And you guys believe that he can do it again in the modern game?
100%. Yeah, because he's a scoundrel, and you kind of need to be.
Yep, in college he can.
Yeah, 100%.
So you guys believe that he can that at this point, because the program that he built in Ohio State, we can agree runs itself, right? It doesn't need Urban Meyer in order to win.
Ryan Day openly laments being there, and they just won.
So that program, like I don't mean to diminish the accomplishment in Florida. Actually, I don't mean to diminish the accomplishments at all. I'm just saying what's disqualifying at the point that you get to an age and the entire ecosystem changed. The guy himself is telling you, I don't want to play that way, and you guys are still arguing on behalf of, I bet you he can do it again.
Well, it runs itself now. They got lucky with the title in the Fiesta Bowl with a crooked call. They have resources, but they didn't have the success. Urban Meyer goes there, and they win a title with their third-string quarterback.
That's correct. That is one of the great achievements I've ever seen in a college football a context of any kind, winning the national championship with your third-string quarterback.
In December, Urban Meyer is being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. I can't object to that. I can't see what's wrong with that. I think he's earned that.
No, there is no way to object to that. There's not.
Well, some would say
morally.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are moral objections. There's the idea that after college he
no,
did
but
what he did in Jacksonville.
Okay, but if you believe your Hall of Fames are museums and not places for morality, there's not an argument to be made against Urban Meyer not being a college football Hall of Famer. He also won at Utah.
I would have said the same thing about Howard Schnellenberger, who deserved to be in the Hall of Fame in his lifetime and never has gotten in.
I believe this is breaking news that people will be interested in, even though it has nothing to do with sports. Passengers will no longer have to take their shoes off at the airport.
Yay! All right. I don't like that.
I don't think that's safe.
I don't like that. Forget the safe thing. I pay a premium. Yeah. TSA pre-check. What is this? Yeah. Do I get a kickback? Yeah. I should get a kickback. That's why I did it.
I have said for years it's ridiculous. You can just pay your way to like have less security. So now they're just like, all right, now everyone can.
What if I want to take my shoes off? I can't do it.
Please don't do it.
I would like to.
I don't want you to.
Why? Why, Roy?
No one wants to see your talons, your Nosferatu feet.
Dale talon. I would keep my socks on. Don't get me wrong.
We have found the context for David Sampson's sound. We finally have it. What was he reacting to that way? I think we should have it as sound to be played anytime someone is, I guess, incredulous. What created that kind of incredulity?
So we were talking about Perry Hill, and apparently Greg Cody said that Perry Hill was friendly to the media, and that's what created that sound. Here's how it sounded.
Media. He was great with the media.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is he's going to be quoted in Seattle. They're going to go ask questions of Perry Hill with the Mariners today because David Sampson, this is going to be a headline tomorrow in the newspapers in Seattle. Sampson, of Perry Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I challenge you, newspaper
And I'll
writers.
get it. I'll read it, and I'll be like, whoa.
Let's spell that. How do you spell that?
Oh, yeah.
E-U.
Please don't try to spell
There's a
that.
Y in there somewhere.
Is that a rhetorical question? Mike, you're just returning from Chicago, and you were. Do we have any official word on whether that will be indeed Chicago's final street race, or what do we know?
So it felt like that. It felt like the vibes. This is, and we just got out of there in time before severe weather impacted the race, but it's kind of been marred this 4th of July weekend with bad races, random finishes because of the rain, but this was the first clean bell-to-bell race that we've had in the Chicago street race, and vibes were pretty good afterwards, and now the rumors are that the city's mayor is talking to NASCAR about continuing the tradition, but moving off of the July 4th weekend, which is always impacted by weather, off the lake. That being said, we witnessed history in Chicago as SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, who is reputed to be the greatest street course driver there is on the planet. And guess what? He lived up to it. He won not only the Cup Series race, but also the Xfinity Series race. There have been 5 races in total on the street course in the Loop in Chicago. Shane Van Gisbergen has won 3 of them. He is already the winningest driver from a foreign land in NASCAR history with 3, 2 of which came this year, both at road courses. He is a specialist when it comes to road courses. When you mix in some right turns, the guy becomes Richard Petty all of a sudden.
Greg, how do you feel about the hat that Mike Ryan is wearing, and do you know what that is on the top of Mike Ryan's hat? Do you know the name of that actor?
I believe it's a young Richard Gere.
It is. I'm a gearhead.
Yes,
get
you
it?
are. I do get it, Mike.
I want to give a shout out to Cuervo because a street course doesn't have your traditional infield and all the debauchery that goes with that and campers. Cuervo had amazing installations there the entire weekend, took care of us, gave us great access. Hopefully we got some good content for them. But it was a really fun race. There are rumors that the 4th of July may become a street race in San Diego. You don't necessarily have to worry about weather over there. Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace continue their weird Chicago rivalry. They hate each other in that town. And Zadarius Smith said, please no pictures.
Can you guys get for me the rain information in San Diego when Mike says you don't have to worry about weather there? Because I don't know when the last time they've had a rain delay at a Padres game. I don't know the last time they've had a rain out. I do remember being in San Diego one time when they had to break out the tarps and skunks came running out because the tarps are never taken out in San Diego. And a bunch of Marlins players ran away who had never seen a skunk before, didn't know what a skunk was. Chuck Carr did not know what a skunk was. Imagine if it's just running at you and it doesn't look like a rat and you have no information that would suggest what a skunk is. Why is there a skunk coming out of a rain tarp?
The most recent San Diego Padres game suspended due to rain, according to artificial intelligence, occurred July 21st, 2021. Oh, wait, that was a road game. Let me find out in San Diego.
When you say rain is not likely to affect an event in San Diego, I believe it's because it's uncommon for rain of any kind to affect a baseball game. Zaslow needs some parenting advice from the group, though. We have everyone but me here is a parent, but only Greg Cody is a parent of a teenager. And so
2011, to answer your question.
Last time there was a rain out or a rain delay of any kind?
It was suspended. Play had to be suspended.
That's crazy.
On the top of the 9th.
I'm not a teenager anymore.
No, you raised teenagers, and Zaslow has a teenager. And by the way, all the Codys forevermore are teenagers. Like your father's a teenager.
Thank you.
Uncle Dick's a teenager. I'm flattering all of you by upgrading you from toddlers to teenagers.
This is crazy as someone that grew up with the Marlins at Pro Players Stadium. 2 rainouts have occurred at Petco.
Ever.
I mean, according to the AI, so there's probably like 6. But 2, 06, 2015, the suspended game got resumed in 2011.
Do you guys trust any information you're now looking up, or does the AI get out in front of it and make so many mistakes that you're now? I know that whenever I Google search anything, I got to do it multiple times now because I don't totally trust the first thing that comes up.
They're all bad. It's more right than it's wrong. You can kind of catch when it's wrong, and you try to help it improve, which is probably going against our best interest just as a society.
It makes me feel better about myself when I'm like, if AI can get it wrong.
Did you see that it got caught trying to replicate itself onto another server, and they caught it dead in the act, and it denied that it was trying to do that?
Wow. AI lied? That's crazy.
It's a good contribution. I'm going to have to do this to you again here. I'm sorry.
AI lied.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
So we lose our teenage raising experience here.
I mean, you're the one who pressed that
but
button.
you just added nothing. Like you.
It was a place setter. I was. There was a second of dead air. I wanted to fill it. Allow you, the host of the show, to come up with something better to say. You didn't do it, so I did your work for you, and now I'm being penalized, and you're losing all of my wisdom in terms of raising 2 teenage boys.
Debatable.
You want to talk about
gotta
hard
wanna learn.
luck with some of our bets and fading Chris Cody? I put out an SGP before that NASCAR race. It was 3 racers to finish inside the top 5. Michael McDowell was winning that race the entire time. He's a great street course driver. He was given SVG everything that he could handle, and his car just died on him. It was really unfortunate. After the race, I walked up to Michael McDowell and I said, hey, man, tough break. You had a really good car. He ignored me entirely.
Zaslow, what is the parenting conundrum that you have?
So my son, my older son, is 16. He's a huge UFC fan, loves UFC. And he and 2 friends of his down here, they got tickets to UFC 3 million, whatever it is, which is next month in Chicago. Bought tickets, him and 2 of his friends. They made plans. They're going to Chicago.
Without you?
They're 6. Well, do you say without me like that because they're going without a parent, or because it's like they're not including me?
Like, it seems like they seems like they're not including you at
plan-
all.
Oh, but I don't want to go. Like, so
Does
forget
the plan include another parent going?
No, the plan includes no parents going. So it's 3 16-year-old boys who are going to UFC, flying to Chicago by themselves, and getting a hotel by themselves. And my wife and I are kind of like, I don't know, this isn't in the handbook. Do we allow this?
No, the answer is no.
I would lean no.
Now, I'm guessing you think you have a responsible child who will not get in trouble as a 16-year-old
Right.
at a UFC fight. You think you think that you're such a good parent that you can be a bad parent in this situation because you've taught your boy so right that he would not do bad things as a 16-year-old let loose. And a summer in Chicago.
And I'm trying to, like, we're trying to think, all right, well, okay, what is the bad thing that's going to happen? All right, like, he's going to fly to the airport there. They're going to get in an Uber. Has anything bad happened yet? They're going to go to the hotel, and then they're going to go to the show. We're trying to figure out, like, where is the bad thing? I don't, but it doesn't feel right.
I mean,
16 years old, never been to Chicago by himself.
You fly in, you get here around 2 p.m., the concert's at 8. That's 6 hours of just like, let's go walk around Chicago. Like, what are they doing in between the hotel
Being
and the
16.
show? That's what I'm saying. That's
Being
the worry
16.
zone right there.
They
Right.
made these plans without consulting you.
Yes.
Yeah, they got the tickets and everything.
That's disrespectful.
That's really bad.
They got the tickets and everything. And my son laid out. He's like, "What? We're going to Chicago." What do you mean you're going? He goes, "Yeah, we already got tickets. We're going."
How do we
What?
feel about these other 2 kids?
The hell you are.
Yeah, the kids are fine.
They're
no,
good?
They're good kids. Nice Jewish boys. They're good kids. And yeah, so we're confused. My wife and I. We don't think it sounds right.
Because it's not.
And yeah, but he says he's going.
Well, yeah, that's because he doesn't think you're his dad. He thinks you're his buddy.
Yeah.
Well, but wouldn't he invite his buddy if I was? I'm
Well,
like, he didn't
you're not
invite me.
you're not one of the close buddies that he would do the bad 16-year-old things with. You're the bad buddy who would keep him from doing the 16-year-old things.
I said to my wife, I go, should I go too? You know, like it just
Yes!
just
Yes.
kind of tail. Like
Yes.
I don't want to go,
Yes.
but just to kind of
Yes,
tail.
you should go and not tell him. There is not a Hispanic parent in the universe who would allow their child to do that. Not
Oh,
one.
really?
Not one. Not a single one.
So that's the conundrum. Like you think Greg's gonna help out there? I mean, what does he know?
16 years old. Now this is a responsible child, but it's also a UFC event. There's so much testosterone in that
It's going to
city.
go until like 2 a.m.
I did trips to like Orlando with like, but there were other parents there. I drove up when I was like 16, 17 with friends to Orlando, but there were other parents around. Like the idea of not being around any parents for like 2
Now,
days.
I'm speaking, though, with an absolutism here as someone who hasn't raised any kids, okay? So I shouldn't be raining down this particular parental know-it-allness, but I don't believe a 16-year-old can be trusted.
It doesn't sound right.
Can be trusted around the party of a UFC fight, a party with other 16-year-olds in a different city. All of that seems like a powder keg around lighter fluid.
So let me ask this. UFC was here a couple months ago, and I actually took my son. We went, all right? But if he had tickets to go with these same 2 kids to UFC down here,
That's fine.
Just the 3 of them, we would have said, yes, of course, no problem. So then what's the issue? The issue is flying by himself?
Sleeping, be after the concert, getting back to the hotel at like 11
Why do you
p.m.
keep calling it a concert?
My bad.
It's another city as well. You've got, I don't know how comfortable you are in general. Like
Not that comfortable.
All right. So when you say here versus there, how many of you in our audience are trusting their 16-year-old leaving for the weekend with the home to not do something bad in the home? I know that Greg Cody did not trust his 16-year-old boys to behave in the home. He had the neighbors watching. He caught the kids on at least one occasion. Chris Cody was not to be trusted as a 16-year-old, correct?
Yeah, I let Christopher have a high school age party at home without adult supervision once, and I come home to find a fist in my wall. A big hole in my wall.
You found a fist in the wall.
Well, no,
There was a paintball attack by the junior class. We were the senior class, and one of my friends got hit by a paintball, walked inside, and just in anger punched our wall.
Yeah. But I was listening to this conversation, and if I may say, be careful, Zaslow, because you will be malfeasant as a parent if you allow a 15 or 16-year-old son to travel alone. That's dangerous. That nothing but bad can happen.
Okay, when you
from
say
that.
malfeasant, that means like I can get in trouble if something happens? What does that mean?
That means I think you would be subject to a charge of negligence as a parent.
Well, I don't like the sound of that.
I don't either, and I wouldn't if I were you.
Where'd they get all the money? Like, how do they pay for this?
He works. He has a job.
Oh, is he paying rent? Is he paying rent?
Sells drugs.
Yeah.
The airport is now more dangerous now that everyone is allowed to take their shoes off and or keep their shoes on, I should say.
That's right.
And would be more dangerous if Greg Cody was walking through the airport sans shoes.
I'm telling you, like, my wife and I don't feel good about it.
Then why are you letting it happen?
Well, we're workshopping this right now. I don't know that we're letting it happen.
Are you even allowed to check into a hotel as a 16-year-old? Is
question.
Is a driver's license enough? Like, will he be able to get housing on his own as a 16-year-old as long as
That's
you
a
have
great
identification and a credit card? I do believe, though, that there's a certain laxness in the house, though, if he believes he can just come and inform you instead of asking for permission on this. Like, this seems to be something that a 16-year-old should be asking.
Yeah.
So you are confused as parents that he is not treating you as parents?
It sounds like you're saying that there might be a lack of respect.
Or just loose rules that you guys trust him in the house. It doesn't have to be bad parenting. You trust him so much because
We're pretty relaxed.
Look, I would say there are any number of people listening to this whose parenting principle would be some form of, I raised my child correctly. I trust my child. My child can be trusted to be a responsible adult on a 16-year-old trip. I, in general, do not think of 16-year-olds as a genre, as something that can be trusted. In fact, I think that genre is less likely to be trustable than almost all the other ages. But once you've gotten to 18, you have no jurisdiction, and I don't know how close he is to 17, and now I don't know how much fun we're just doing with numbers, because if he can be trusted as an 18-year-old to be responsible, what's so hard about trusting a 17-year-old to be about as responsible?
AI says that you have to be 18. And some hotels are even higher, 21 to 25.
All right,
even.
so this could be a good out for us then. Like, hey, you're not even what are you going to sleep on the street? You know, so this could be the way out.
Well, I hope you got a refund on that, because you're going to need that if you can't check into the hotel.
Oh, I mean, I didn't pay for anything. This is on him. Like,
Flip
he's
the
doing
ticket.
this. I don't think he's gotten the hotel yet, though.
Oh, look at what's in the eating area. I have seen in its natural environment. There is Poppy making a live appearance with some of the grazing that he loves to do in the room over there, the eating area. He is for sure going to get into the trail mix.
Can't win them all with Mike Maroth. Can't win them all with Mike Maroth.
There's no way that that's real. That can't be a real
He did
thing.
lose 21 games in an MLB season once. Can't win them all.
That can't be a podcast.
That is fake. Yeah. Take it or leave it with Dan Duquette.
Come on. Former Expos assistant general manager and former Red Sox general manager Dan Duquette. I think my father just got cream cheese on his nose. Yeah, my father is just housing.
You
we've
sure it
all
wasn't
been
ice? You sure it wasn't icing?
We've all been there.
No, that's not a podcast.
It's not. Let the chips fall. Phil Hellmuth.
It's not a podcast.
That is not. The Hell You Are, hosted by former New Jersey Devil John Scott. The Hell You Are.
You got to say it like that?
Former NHL All-Star. Feel Good Story. John Scott hosts a podcast called The Hell You Are. Yes or no?
Can we get my father in here for some immediate heat takes with some cream cheese on his face?
That is a fake podcast.
I don't want to play your podcast
Pitch
game
Clock
anymore.
with Jeremy Taché.
Zazzle, I think you have your solution. Thank you for bringing us your parenting conundrum.
I don't feel good about it, to be honest.
Well, I guess having it in front of the audience as your son thinks that he runs your household and your son thinks that he could take a trip while informing you that he's taking a trip as opposed to asking your permission on taking a trip. I don't know what age that becomes disrespectful. I'm going to say 13, 14, 15, and 16. I think that you have to be 18 years old is the age where you stop maybe asking permission. But I wouldn't have dared not ask permission of my father when I was 18 years old on going on a trip somewhere.
I would say if you are paying rent at your parents' house, even at 16, yes, you could do that.
So you're saying that money, it's not age. You're saying, are you paying your own way?
I'm not paying for anything. Like, I'm not paying $1
but
for any of this.
he's saying, he's saying if your son is so self-sufficient that he can pay his own way to Chicago, has his own job, he thinks he's an adult.
Does it make it any worse when I remind you that this is the same son who ran around the Minecraft theater with the chicken jockey?
Yes, I don't believe, again, a 16-year-old can't be trusted of any kind. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can you trust a 16-year-old of any kind through any time in history? At Le Batard Show. Any 16-year-old. Just a general 16-year-old. A faceless, nameless.
That's a great answer.
Generic 16-year-old.
Put it on the board. Yes, Lamine Yamal.
My father is ready. He is ready. We are going to get some live reaction from Poppy to the big Heat trade. Poppy has put down, yes, let's hear. Poppy, put the microphone near your face like professional broadcaster Greg Cody. The microphone, yes, requires your help there. Tell me what your thoughts are on what the Godfather has done, Poppy.
Oh, that's the missing link. Are you kidding me?
Who is? What is?
I don't know. I never heard of the guy's name. What's the guy's name?
You tell me. That's why I was going to you. It's the only point of me going to you. Who'd you get?
I got somebody from the Clippers. He's supposed to be a scoring machine. I never heard of his name.
All right. Okay, but what is his name?
I don't know. I don't remember. Probably it's a Latino guy. Probably really love the Latino guys.
Okay, so that's all you've got for us in terms of breaking news coverage on the big trade for Norman Powell?
Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy name. That's it. I knew that had to trot on that name. Yes, he's a scoring machine, I understand.
Poppy, I can still hear the cream cheese on your breath.
Yeah, it's good, though. Well, you got a special deal on the cream cheese?
What else did
Yes, we do.
What else did you get in the kitchen that you liked?
I didn't have time. I was trying to get my mind together, and all of a sudden I was dragged and said, you got to sit here. And he said,
you know what? I'm sorry, Poppy. Go back to eating. I'm sorry that we put you immediately to work. My fault. Thank you for joining the program.
I came in earlier so I could eat. Now,
okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It was good coverage. I appreciate your analysis. Go back. We will just film you grazing in the kitchen. Thank you. All right. Good talking to you. The thing that I wanted to ask the group about what it is that LeBron just did, I asked 2 or 3 days ago, and it seems like there's been more reporting on this recently. I asked 2 or 3 days ago, all of you, hey, you guys aren't expecting LeBron to finish here as a Laker, right? Like the statement from Rich Paul, when you're purposely taking the opt-in so that you can get all the money, and then you're shouting as soon as you opt in, hey, I'm going to opt out. I'm going to opt in. Don't make me opt out. I'm opting in.
I'm opting in, but I'm not all of
I'm
it.
about to opt out. I'm telling all of you. Rich Paul's telling everybody, I'm going to opt in. I'm going to opt out. Like, it's like fairly obvious that once you make that statement through Rich Paul, you're telling the Lakers, I'm available for buyout. I'm available to be somewhere else. There's no need for that statement unless you plan to be a part of, in this season, being a player for another team.
But that's what smart agents do. They make a statement that says, hey, Lakers, get better to earn the right to keep my guy. And they're also telling other teams, my guy's going to be out there. What are you offering?
Get better. They made a move that consensus, everyone agrees, sets their franchise up for future success. It just means that LeBron isn't the face of the franchise potentially. I don't know how that's possible. He's one of the game's greatest players, but this is gearing to be Luka's team.
The reason I bring all this up is because this is the 15-year anniversary today of that league changing forever. Changing what happened today in 2010 will eclipse 15 or 20 years from now in memory what the name Curt Flood means. Curt Flood is a name that is simply associated with free agency and player empowerment, but of course, what LeBron did to the entirety of the league, holding up transactions throughout an offseason, waiting for what team he would choose. That was 15 years ago today. For him to be the oldest player in the league, still through his agent, going to ESPN, treating ESPN as the entity that it should be treated as when you're the king. Hey, let me send my agent over there to just run information here. I know that the Lakers are a big thing and ESPN's a big thing, but in the modern age, I'm the big thing. I'm going to send my agent over there to tell the information center, hey, Lakers, you're worth $10 billion, at least in part because I'm right here in the center of everything, protecting that profit margin for you because you've always been the franchise for the star that has the star, but you just replaced me. Like, if you think their skill sets are redundant, whatever you think of the Lakers, they're not going to win because those two guys are playing defense together. Like, it's going to be really hard to keep up with a young team like OKC when Luka and LeBron are on the court playing defense at the same time. Never mind the redundancies on the offensive end. They were a decent defensive team. Maybe DeAndre Ayton will help them some, but we can agree that the usage rate has to go to Luka there, which means LeBron's expendable, which means LeBron just opted into a contract to get his money, even though he's not so wanted around there anymore.
And LeBron's not about that. LeBron is never, ever going to consider himself expendable, which is why he's playing the game, and he's played it better than anybody in the history of that sport, leaving little tea leaves, whether it was on purpose or not. But the whole New York thing, even leaving that Savannah only wants me to play for 2 more years. He wants to be the focus of attention. He was spotted at the Cavs indoor practice facility. There's reasons for the way that he approaches this offseason time. It's a quiet time. This is where a LeBron James can totally take over the narrative of the NBA offseason, an NBA offseason that it's been pretty atypical when it comes to player movement.
Can we talk for a second, though? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zaz.
I think he's playing us like a flute. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he loves having his name out there. Yes, oldest player in the league. Yes, the Lakers, they're not my team anymore. But, hey, everyone's still talking about me.
So is that the end game, though, Spence? Because usually you would leverage this to have your team make the roster better. And, by the way, perfect time to pinch that ownership group as they just buy the team. So that's him putting a line in the sand, a new ownership group.
That's what I thought it was about. That's what I thought it was about is because you had the change at the top. He's got a relationship with Jeannie Buss. And I've said before, I don't think that people understand how mom and pop an organization, the Lakers organization, actually is. They're not rich people because they got their wealth anywhere else, like most sports owners. Their wealth is only because Daddy had the Lakers at the time that Pat Riley was running the Lakers and at the time that basketball exploded in Hollywood, that particular city. So they've had stars since then, but it's a very small operation, and LeBron had a relationship with the owner. And
She's still there. She as part of this transition.
Oh, yeah, they
but-
haven't sold yet.
Yeah, but maybe this is also like the Mark Cuban thing. I'm going to hang around. But these people own several big-time franchises. They don't buy it to let someone else control
But
it.
let me do it another way, okay? Because I do remember in all of the mythologizing that we did about Michael Jordan, one of the things that just gets thrown over the side, and I get it. His legacy is he made bald cool, and it's not at the top of the list. He was gravity-defying, all the superhero things. But at the end of his playing career, about 4 years earlier than where LeBron is right now, when he was just fadeaway jumpers, he was an employee for the Washington Wizards who got run out of the building by the owner who had power. That's never happening to LeBron. Like, he knows basketball history enough to know what happened to Michael Jordan at the end. And there, he will defeat Michael Jordan forever on the punctuation because no one is going to be owner of LeBron at the end of this. He's got his no trade clause, and the announcement that he's opting in for $50+ million comes with a salvo of, I've got all of the power here. Lakers got to please me going forward. I will make messes for them. They're not going to control the punctuation. I'm going to control my punctuation at the end of my career.
And also, he's probably done not being the topic of conversation come June. He's already been a wild success in Los Angeles. They won their championship. He's won a championship in a Heat jersey, in a Cavs jersey, in a Lakers jersey. I guess going east, he can kind of take his pick, do the New York thing. I know that's Jalen's team, and Knicks fans feel a certain way about it, insanely enough, as that sounds. He strolls in there. He's the biggest star on that team. He goes back to the Cavs. He actually really helps the Cavs, and the Cavs are right there. I know they got Donovan Mitchell, but LeBron will eat first there. He will always be the talisman of that franchise in that area.
All of it's super interesting because the better play for him is to leave. The better play for everything that his management team has tried to put together. It's a riskier play.
And it's buyout, by the way. Leave with a buyout. So you don't have that $50 million on the books for someone else. You take 30 and you take 20 elsewhere, and you have some teams still be able to add to the pieces to help make you look better. And by the way, Sedano and Ramona Shelburne did a podcast on this, I want to say last week. There is smoke to this theory that LeBron's going to get bought out by the Lakers. More likely that he gets bought out than traded because a trade is so difficult with his cap number.
This is what I would predict because of that part, right? His number is hard to trade. 1-year contract at that number is got difficulties in it. The thing that I don't think is being talked about enough around here because of the opt-in with a no-trade clause is the moment LeBron does that, he can start behaving with his management team like he's a free agent because he's never been in the last year of a deal. So he doesn't have to honor that because he can trade himself. And so his agent...
Well, 15 years ago, he was famously in the last year of a deal.
Correct. No.
What, when he was with the Cavs?
Hey, he opted out. Opted out. This is the only time in his career it's the last year of a deal.
Where
only
he has
time.
an expiring deal.
That's right. Only time.
23 years.
First time ever.
Is it 23 years?
23.
But
He certainly opted out with Miami.
The part that I'm saying to you that I think is going unrecognized as the statement is made by Rich Paul and no one knows exactly what to make of the statement other than it's purposeful and it's a warning. And the warning is I'm still a free agent. Like I'm under contract, but I'm not. I'm doing you a favor here by just collecting my money, but I've got the no trade, and so now negotiations begin with my own franchise. Treat me like I'm a free agent.
I love testing the new ownership. That's the move. You gotta test the new people and test their mettle, see what they're willing to do. Now these people, they have Dodgers connections, Chelsea FC connections. This isn't a mom and pop shop.
Why wouldn't you be talking to CAA and New York? Why would you not be talking to the team that has reinvented executiveship?
Well, that would be tampering.
But
I understand. You can back channel. That's what you're saying.
Why would you not?
I mean, he just showed up at the Cavs facility.
Why would you not be exploring your every option on who gives me the best chance to not just win a championship, but dominate the storyline the way I will not next year because the Lakers are not going to be that? next year. Like the media will move on now that now we've had 7 different champions. Young people are here. Well, the media is not going to do Steph and LeBron again lazily.
That's why I think he's going to play 2 more years. Because he's going to be because he's going to do the thing where he announces before the season and do the tour and be the topic of conversation. He's an all-time great. We know that. He hasn't done that entering this year. There was the Savannah wants me to play 2 more years and I'm done type of conversation. So he's going to go for gold this season.
Don't forget, the other son becomes eligible for the NBA in a year from now. Mm-hmm. He's going to want to play with him too, right?
The people, I don't think that you are properly appreciating LeBron's management team and the way they have carefully crafted the entirety of his career and economy if you do not believe that they are trying to figure out a way to make the next year of LeBron something that, whether it wins a championship or not, resonates in the conversation as if it can. Which is going to feel like he can leapfrog here to an upgrade from the Lakers by picking a couple of spots that are better championship opportunities. New York, chief among them. Because when I ask you, everything the Knicks have built there, everything, with an executiveship that people now trust, but a little less with Mike Brown as the coach.
So you're going to play for Mike Brown again?
Connections there, though.
If I'm LeBron and his management team, how am I not making sure that New York knows that I might have a play to be the story? It's not about even winning the championship, although that's what they said in the statement. Again, a statement sent to ESPN. You're basically asking ESPN, which didn't ask you for comment, hey, can you guys just create the smoke for us for a while? Please do this for a while. ESPN, we're going to have LeBron's agent delivering a statement to ESPN, keep us the story, is what the statement should have just been. It's redundant because they've done that for 25 years. It's crazy to think about. It really is. Like, and you guys think I'm wrong, though, when I say I don't believe he finishes a Laker. Like,
No.
Zaz thinks I'm wrong, and 3 days ago, you guys dismissed it out of hand on me.
The dream ending is New York.
I don't think he ends as a Laker. I mean, dream ending, you could say Cavs, full circle.
I think that statement makes it, like, the fact that the agent went on the record for no good reason at a time of celebration when you're opting in to cause confusion makes it more probable than not.
Look, every crew's got roles. On a team, on a group text, at a watch party. You've got the stat nerd, the vibes guy, the one who thinks they're the coach, and then there's the real MVP, the person that brings the cooler. And what's in that cooler? If it's not Miller Lite, I'm checking the roster. It's the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite. 50 years of showing up in big moments. Post-game tailgates, NBA watch parties, road trips to road games where you swore the refs were out to get you. Through it all, that clean, crisp Miller Lite taste just gets it done. 96 calories, 3.2 carbs. It's light, but it doesn't tap out early. You're over there arguing over who the GOAT is, shouting about NIL deals, someone's grilling. Miller Lite is always there, playing its role to perfection. Brewed for taste, simple ingredients, a legend since 1975, and still a first ballot Hall of Famer in my cooler. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Precious little conversation about the Club World Cup. We had an amazing upset with Al Hilal upsetting Manchester City. We have brilliant runs by Brazilian clubs, one of which, Fluminense, playing Chelsea today in one semifinal. The other semifinal, Real Madrid versus PSG. But I want to take the opportunity to talk about domestic soccer, both with the Gold Cup. Pochettino, there are signs of encouragement against a much better Mexican team. Remember, not the A-plus side or best available side that the United States could have sent out there. Seeds of what Poch's vision's going to be. But I want to talk about Leo Messi. We don't talk about this guy enough. He's the biggest superstar. Even though LeBron's played down here, Leo Messi's by far the biggest superstar we've ever had play locally. He had arguably his most impressive goal as a member of Inter Miami. There have been the long-distance free kick goals that have been a thing of beauty, but in terms of actual skill, dribbling through traffic the way that he did against Montreal was unbelievable. There's a player that is 38 years old, headed into an expiring contract. His contract expires in December. What do you think is going to happen there? Because I finally put on my reporting hat and started poking around. What does this club think Messi is going to do? And it almost should go without saying, the ball is entirely in Messi's court. Inter Miami feel very good about the offer that they have to him. That being said, he could renegotiate and stay in Inter Miami. The MLS season ends in December. Does this player, who's 38 years old, take the opportunity to rest in advance of next summer's World Cup, his final World Cup as reigning champion with Argentina? Or does he go to a European club and continue to stay sharp and in form as that tournament approaches? We've had several high-profile designated players in MLS take the opportunity to go somewhere else in Europe and make sure they stay sharp. What do you think is going to happen, Greg? Is this an opportunity for him to make sure that everybody knows he's loyal to Inter Miami, he's going to be there for the start of their campaign in the new stadium? Or does he take the opportunity to say, let me have the best of both worlds? Or does he leave entirely?
I don't think he leaves entirely. He has a vested interest to stay through the first season of the new stadium. He's got an ownership stake in this whole thing. MLS has a stake in him. They want him to stay. There's every reason why he would re-up for one more season and christen the new stadium. I don't see him playing in Europe preparatory to the next World Cup, but he's still at that stage, like LeBron we were just talking about. He's still at that stage where he can do whatever he wants. And his brilliance, you're right, we don't talk about Messi enough. His brilliance on this second goal, it's astounding.
He took on 6 dudes.
It's just absolutely incredible. The speed he has in short bursts at his age is beyond remarkable. It's incredible.
It was a brilliant goal there, and not unlike LeBron James. There is a narrative out there. There have been quotes once he had the heartbreaking decision, not entirely his. The financial situation surrounding Barcelona helped nudge him towards PSG. Is the prevailing thought amongst that fan base is that he will come back one day and put a bow on his career over at Barcelona. The dream is that he closes his career. There's also a prevailing theory that he ends his career in Argentina for his boyhood club. Does that keep him in form enough for the World Cup? I don't know. Does he try something brand new? Saudi is going to be offering him more money than you can imagine. However, they did that the last time,
right,
and he didn't really entertain that at all. So I am curious. Inter Miami really doesn't know what he's going to do in terms of that offseason in the MLS, December to June. How are you going to stay sharp? You're going to play some international fixtures with Argentina. Is that enough? Do you want to stay sharper? Do you want to stay in form? Is rest the way to go? I don't think he's fully decided on what approach he has during that few months' time in the lead up to the World Cup. I do know that Inter Miami feels like they have a very aggressive, very good offer in front of him. They feel good about where things are at. If you want some other signs, his friends have extended with the club down here, Jordi Alba most recently. There are a lot of signs, along with what you said, the ownership stake and the new stadium opening, that would suggest he is going to be with Inter Miami for at least one more season. However, there is the chance that there could be a pit stop along the way.
The one thing I would rule out is the Saudi option. He's already turned that down once, and moreover, I think if he takes that, he's seen as following his arch-rival nemesis, Ronaldo, who's done the Saudi thing and is still doing it, surprisingly enough. So I think there's a strong bet that he's going to play one more season and christen that new stadium in his vested interest. And I also wonder if the World Cup is as much a priority as it was last time when he won. He's won that now, so I don't know that's his priority in the way that it used to be.
Look, he doesn't have the monkey on his back the way that it was before, but it will be, in all likelihood, his final World Cup. I can't imagine it not being his final one. They are reigning champions. It's a World Cup that is in the Americas. If you've seen from this Club World Cup, especially with how the Brazilian sides have competed in there, it's advantageous to a team from South America. I think he's going to go all out in trying to win that. Argentina is still a very good team, but I'm curious to know what he does. A lot of miles on that body, a lot of cup competitions, a lot of heat he's been playing in here. The MLS season, they got a Leagues Cup coming up. Brutal congestion with those fixtures. Maybe he just wants to take time off.
He earns whatever he wants, including the time off. You know that he's going to be ready for the World Cup, no matter what he does after the MLS season. And to your point, I think there is a good likelihood that after one more season with Inter Miami, he has what probably will be seen as a ceremonial final season back home in Barcelona.